Video games, throughout its short course of history, has introduced sexy female heroines throughout its brief course in time. Hey, kinda like movies. Suggestive at times, and dare I even say lewd. Video games set the stage for young men of any insert generational sexualized rage-induced men hero casting themselves through a sexy heroine. And sometimes women. Hey, kinda like books.
It's called a flogger.
Boomer shooters, and/or 90s fast-paced approach as you will style first-person non-linear style games like Doom and the Duke and the Old Wang always flirted with lewd imagery and suggestive themes, so it's there, right in the DNA. Hey, kinda like sports. Flash forward to the year 2016, and Doom 2016 revitalizes a dead genre buried in BioShock and Call of Duty wannabes for a good solid 11 years. We all know that hell, who grew up with it. Or you're still embracing it. Hey, kinda like DraftKings sports. Everybody is telling you to do it at this point. Might as well get the Pope to tell you about DraftKings before we send AI into space. Why didn't we just start with that? With the genre revitalized, just gonna pretend Wolfenstein the New Order didn't exist, Doom 2016 saved us from hide and pop from behind a box cover-based shooters. So let's talk about modern boomer shooters. Boxes. I know, pun segue of the year. I asked Reddit on the subreddit Boomer Shooters this very question of what boomer shooters are lewd, waifu, weeb, boomer shooters, because I am great with my linguistic lingo, and could have just asked what modern boomer shooters are gooner shooters. But to understand this hybrid, we know what a boomer shooter is, but what is a gooner? And/or goon? Goon is either a people noted for brutality, or otherwise as targets of contempt. Or it could be in a sexual subculture of chronic and compulsive masturbators. Huh. Well, I'm 1 for 2 on those, so I'm not a goon. How about gooner? Well, a gooner is someone who obsessively masturbates for hours at a time and usually has gone half mad because of it. Huh. Thanks, Google AI, I'm only 2 for 2 of those. Well, now we combine a modern boom with a little gooner, and we get some optional priced masterpieces that may or may have not been killed because we're fucked if Gabe can't even protect us anymore. Sit on my face and let my lips embrace you. I'll sit on your face and then I'll love you truly. Life can be fun. Waifu Hell is a singular arena-based shooter where you shoot these lovely, voluptuous Unity asset character drops on a Quake Arena map. Literally, it's a Redder Quake 3 Longest Yard homage. In it, you play as this waifu, as you shoot other waifus who look exactly like you. You have a shotgun, which works pretty well. Movement is pretty good, but yeah, what you see here is what you get unless you fork over 99 cents for the nudity DLC, which looks like anyone you'd find on Brazzers in the year 2004. Which, neat. But if you played any of Konichiwa's other games, which include Adult Sheriff, Anime World War II, H Sniper Middle East, Waifu Horror, The 8 Pictures, Anime Redemption, Anime War Modern Campaign, Anime Standing, and 2 games I actually don't own by this developer named H Sniper World War II and The Last of the Waifus. Can't see anyone getting weird with that last one. It's only 99 cents, $2 if you need to see the exact same Unity Engine game character models that's in every other Konichiwa game, but it works. Sure, it's only 1 map, and 1 enemy variety, and 1 gun, but that 1 gun is a shotgun, so 10 out of 10. Hent Shooter 3D, released on September 18th, 2018, is a lewd Wolfenstein-like where you play as this lady, I think, as you use this pickle to take out these scantily clad bikini ladies as they shoot red tennis balls from their... Yeah, maybe if I just don't say it, then we can all just assume not the worst. Starting up this game is a nightmare, as in you don't have any way of optimizing this game, or at least any way I've seen. So I did another play of this game, and discovered you can select the other options in the menu, which include sound, which isn't labeled. So maybe this one is SFX, this one is the music, and this one is for the annoying-ass pickle voice actor. Sadly, it's not. It looks like save files are another option, but you know what's not? Key bindings and graphics optimizations. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting for a 54-cent game I got during COVID times, but this...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This just sucks so hard. When you finally start the game, you get to enjoy more stiff controls than Wolfenstein could have ever imagined. Aiming is next to impossible, and it's not like I don't have experience with games that feature no mouse look, but this is bad. You start level 1 in the main character's house, I think, and you grab a key in this annoying-ass pickle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Thankfully, that's the only time you'll hear the pickle, because even the sound team for this game understands mercy on the human ear. Your first encounter with one of the scantily clad bikini ladies goes one way. You smash your pickle at her while she fires Super Mario fireballs from her peach. There's no rhyme, or reason, or strategy here. Just get close, smash that pickle at bikini-clad lady, and hope you only get 20% of your health knocked off. You can't avoid their attack because they hit scan to perfection, even through walls. The problem truly begins when you encounter more than one scantily clad bikini lady. For example, here's a skirmish with 2 ladies, and as you can see, my health is at 90%. But after smashing my pickle and humbling these 2 ladies, I'm down to 62%. Believe it or not, that actually is a good exchange in this game. I encounter 3 ladies at 82% health, and in a good exchange for me, I leave with 37% health. Now, after every skirmish, there's some health to pick up, but it's useless once you get to the part that has 4 scantily clad bikini ladies. I've tried 15 times, either with the pickle as a melee attack, or the tomato, which you can fire from the pickle, which does the same amount of damage as the melee pickle. Then you add in the AI hit scanning, shitty aim, and you're just fucked at this point. This game does give the option to buy the unclothed DLC, and man, who wouldn't want to see this interpretation of the female form in its most basic beauty? Not me, because I'll be setting this game on fire after I find a physical copy of it. Fire is cool though, so this game is a 10 out of 10. It gives me no pleasure in saying this, much less having to play it, that you can no longer get Super Kinky on Steam. A arena shooter where you play as this character, who I can't show because she literally is rocking more dildos than Shota Boy and Orgasmo. Also, oddly enough, this game was removed from Steam in 2022. Not this year, where you can insert your favorite wine-loving Christian alt-right group for removing the game. No, this one's on Gabe. And honestly, I wish he had done this to Waifu Hell and Hent Shooter 3D, because Super Kinky is, well, it's kind of polished. Great graphics and controls, and I'd show you more of this, but with a main character covered in dildos and 3/4 of the enemies you face either being naked women or monsters with their dicks hanging out, I can only show you this one level bare-boned because you fight good, wholesome, Jesus-loving skeletons. I'd show you more to get a sense, but with our AI overlord Google breathing down my neck, I gotta be careful. Also doesn't help, there's nude art all over the arena, so this little corner was the best I could do. Again, I wish I could show you more, but we live in a day and age where this is less offensive than the birds and bees. Weird sex quirks included. It's an arena shooter, where you face endless hordes of enemies that you can take out with this giant dildo, or your Gatling gun, or shotgun. Controls and guns feel great. The game even features death animations, one in particular I can't show you, but remember that picture I showed earlier of the Brazzers girls? Well, the one on the left is a porn star by the name of Ava Devine, known by many as the Lady of the Lake. And good on her, she's still going strong. You Nina Hartley the shit out of this. But one of the deaths in the game features you getting impaled by a spike, and while I'm not saying to Google this, but type into your Google machine Ava Devine followed by prolapsed anus, and you'll get an idea of what that death looks like. Oh, and since you can't play the game anywhere seemingly now, I guess that makes this a pretty rare game to have. And to hopefully bump up the cost of me maybe needing to sell my Steam account if eggs reach a 12 for $12 rate, well, Super Kinky is then a 10 out of 10. Bright Memory, or Bright Memory Episode 1, guess Bright Memory Infinite beat Valve to the episode schmepisode everything is all in one now thing. Look, I love Steam, my money I have recklessly spent that will most likely send me to the heresy layer of hell
Flames burn their legs, and as they try to move, the flames flare up even higher.
for proclaiming Max Payne 3 to be the greatest boomer shooter third-person shooter, as long as you skip the cutscenes and in score attack.
New York, New York.
But Valve is a different story. No one needs to repeat the importance of Half-Life and how it changed narrative approach not only for video games, but in terms of immersion, so I won't. Instead, what I'd like to say is Valve made some of our childhood bangers, but where are we with them now? To me, Valve died in 2011 after Portal 2. Maybe 2012 if you include Counter-Strike 2. Also, I hate Portal, mostly because I suck at it. Puzzles hurt my brain, so I recognize the ones that don't suffer from this self-imposed dyslexia, see it as a masterpiece.
Yeah. Have momentum.
2 years later, Dota 2, I have never played in full disclosure, but it's like finding out Silicon Knights came back, put Dennis Dyack on a leash, and made Eternal Darkness 2 or Shadow of the Eternals, and it was a horror battle royal game.
The idea is to create an experience where people can have it nowhere else, and if you're going to be, really have the choice of watching Lord of the Rings or playing Too Human, you'd rather play Too Human.
Well, that sounds good.
But what do we get after a game like this? Artifact. It's a card game. What the fuck is this? Capture Hand Lab, that's VR after Chris Hansen has to take a seat. Half-Life Alyx, which honestly looks fucking awesome, but it's VR. After Chris Hansen asks it to take a seat. Desk Job, which is a puzzle game, currently at overwhelmingly positive on Steam. Neat. Point is, Valve is a game developer I rely on less even compared to Tim Sweeney, the free-to-play meanie in Epic Games. So if you like Portal 2, that's fine. You're cool no matter what they say. But that was still released 14 years ago in 2011. For me, we're going on 16 years since Left 4 Dead 2. Deadlock is coming out, and it's a third-person PvP game that's also a MOBA.
Victory Royale, yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. 10 kills on the board right now, just wiped out Tomato Town.
After Chris Hansen asks it to take a seat, I'm getting off subject. Oh yeah, Alien Swarm. It looks like it might actually be fun. You know, now that I think about it, maybe comparing the Bright Memory franchise to Half-Life 2 and how it lumped in Episode 1 and 2 as a package deal is a bad comparison. Honestly, I just wanted to bitch about Valve for a moment. No, the more accurate comparison for Bright Memory Episode 1 would be Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zero, a game that directly follows Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and sets the stage for Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain. Now, the only things MGS 5 Ground Zero and Bright Memory Episode 1 have in common is they both can be completed in an hour, and are the introductions to their respective follow-up games. But that's where the differences stop. Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero gave you an open-world free-to-play canvas that allowed you to complete a game in any order you wanted, and that's not including the side ops missions, which can lead to you saving Hideo Kojima himself.
What took you so long?
To 100% the game, you can probably do it in anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. Bright Memory Episode 1 is a janky, extremely linear mess that can be completed in less than an hour and offers no reason for replay. And then there's the price on release. What was seen as controversial compared to the overall game itself was the $20 price tag MGS5 Ground Zero had on release. But no one complained about the gameplay, whereas Bright Memory Episode 1 narratively makes no sense, and gameplay is borderline frantic in terms of competent gameplay design, released in 2019 for the low price of $7.99, which, by the way, both games are still retailed at those respective prices. And the funny thing about this game is this is the one that kind of like tried to show off what the Unreal Engine could do on the Xbox Series Next, and it was made by like one person with like the help of 3 other people. Which is even more impressive. Well, to correct myself, while it's impressive that the game was made by only one person, which seems so quaint in the year 2025 next to Cultic, Malapataka, Zorch, and Dusk, so let me be clear, if you need to play Bright Memory in any form, know that you should start and stay with only Bright Memory Infinite. While still a short game that can be completed in 3 hours, it actually feels like a game than a pricey demo. Well, let's talk about what $7.99 gets you in Bright Memory Episode 1. See what I was saying about the weeb? You start off with narration that has no payoff.
These two worlds are connected, like a pair of twins. For one to survive, the other must be sacrificed.
As you make your way to the Origins SRO lab as Sheila, our main protagonist meant to stay in your boxers. You find the corpse of Jacob Lee from Callisto Protocol. Guess FYQD can sue someone for borrowing character designs as compared to FYQD using assets of other games without permission. We are soon bombarded by a crew of nameless henchmen. And of course, I chose Sheila's schoolgirl outfit. Okay. We'll keep the school uniform, because why wouldn't we? I guess I'm glad her fucking schoolgirl uniform is just glitching out. That's good. Here we get to test this gameplay. The combat at first feels fine, hit detection can be hit or miss, and base movement is slow, unless you use the sprint feature. After this quick skirmish, you hack a Minority Report glass wall that knocks you to the ground. Here we get our second skirmish where you get to use your force push abilities, which look cooler than they actually are in terms of pulling off in game in a satisfying way. You hack a computer for some reason because you're just kind of thrown into the story with little detail or explanation to explain anything as you are stopped by a group of masked henchmen led by Carter. And for as shiny as everything looks in this game, Carter somehow has the hair modeling of Mr. Zed.
Any football supporters? Good!
Carter tells you to back off as a random portal I assume that leads to a different dimension sucks up Carter, his goons, and yourself into it. We spawn into a lush jungle with a superhero schoolgirl landing, of course. Because why not? Here, we get to admire the detail and environment design, which again, for one person is still pretty impressive. What's not so impressive is for a game released in 2020 to not have key bindings as an option. Okay, first off, great work, developer. I can't even read the full fucking line of text here, but key/button assignments cannot currently be reconfigured, but this feature will be made available. Not anytime soon, because this game was released in 2020, so I don't know how much I'm expecting 5 fucking years later, but... We get to test out the light blade attack on a fence as you slide down a hill and are greeted by this mythical tiger thing that is totally not a borrowed asset. Here, we get to test out the gameplay, which includes your EMP attack, which launches enemies into the air. Slows down time so you can shoot the shit out of this allegedly borrowed asset. After that, you get to really attempt to get comfortable with the gameplay in this little arena segment. Now I get it. After dealing with a glitched out enemy that had to be killed to progress to the next wave of enemies... Oh, it's because he glitched out up here. I make short work of the new herd and make my way to this temple. You know you're usually done with that arena moment when a cutscene takes place, so you shoot your way through another horde. I should bring up controls because even though you can see attacks listed on the bottom left, they never really feel as responsive as you would expect on a keyboard and mouse. More on that later. We shoot through another horde that activates a cutscene that sets you with a turnstile-like puzzle, where you align 3 circles to their proper alignments. You want to know how to pad the length of your already criminally short $7.99 tech demo? A pointless pace-killing puzzle like this. I think I got it. Jesus Christ, that was unnecessary. After solving the puzzle, woohoo,
nailed it.
You get to tinker with the upgrade system in the game, which is limited for my first run. Oh, fuck. Also, I'm not sure if this game is intended to be played over and over again, which maybe would justify the length of this game, but you should probably be fun first before you ask me to do that. We catch up with Carter's men.
Is that Carter's men?
Then go to a cave and fight those men. But first...
That flashbang is wearing off.
Yeah, that's how a flashbang looks. Thanks for teaching me, Bright Memory. I'll avoid them now forever. Here, we have a skirmish after being slightly blinded in real life with Carter's men. And I don't know if it's the weapons, whether the sword or guns, but hit detection feels spongy and not precise. I mean, it works, but it doesn't feel great or smooth. After defeating Carter's men, you fight this thing along with these other cultists, and man, what I wouldn't kill to be able to move in this game as if it was Quake or Unreal Tournament. Fuck, I'd take Half-Life mobility and movement speed over this slug, even if it looks as good as it does. At times. I get my ass handed to me. Oh my god, you get crowded so quickly. And you are not that fast, which doesn't help either. Make no mistake, movement speed sucks in this game, but it's not hard. Do I need to bring up the game's length again? So I make easy work of that skirmish. This is also where the bright, expressive ambiance of the game becomes a dark cave for most of your journey ahead. You do a couple more skirmishes before coming across this sword which activates the Dark Souls font when you light a fire. Wait, So is this 36-minute long game a Dark Souls FPS RPG? Wow. That really sounds stupid. Maybe this is the case in Bright Memory Infinite. Well, you'll have to wait till I cover that masterpiece to see how Dark Soulsy it is.
The reaction is growing more and more intense.
After making it out of the cave, you're greeted by Lost Forest Lord, a semi-tough boss fight. He's pretty similar to the mini-boss fight in the cave earlier with henchmen assisting him. Also, when I ran out of ammo, I discovered I had a shotgun, which I would have known if I could assign number keys. The key bindings for the weapons are interesting. One is the shotgun, or shotgun hybrid, or actually I guess it's the assault rifle. 2 is the shotgun, 3 is the handgun. Where they thought that was the proper way to go about it. It's not a bad boss fight, honestly, but sadly we get teleported back to the caves. Neat. Now I'm here. You slide down some rocks during this intense sequence, which I'm sure the schoolgirl uniform will protect her ass while sliding down these rocks. Let's see how pervy we can get. That's the optimal amount of perv. You make your way through a collapsing cave and bump into Mr. Zed. I mean Carter.
Carter!
It's her. Don't let her get away.
Nice hair. Can we just take a moment for a second here, ignoring why you obviously play this game with a schoolgirl outfit, but she just literally took a grenade right to the sniz. Much less everything else. You have another skirmish here, and I was starting to get annoyed with how the game was feeling in terms of feel and movement, and my brain remembered how this game was one of the first games Microsoft showcased for its new console, the Xbox Series whatever thing, as its showcase of graphical prowess. So I did the cardinal sin. I plugged in a controller. No, I hate to do this, but I'm gonna actually play this with a controller and see if I'm correct on my feelings here, because, my god, is it a slug on a keyboard and mouse. And one without stick drift. That's fucking rare these days. How do N64 controllers not get the weird white dust in the joystick before every new controller in the year 2025 gets fucking stick drift? So I plugged in the controller. And...
Focus fire. Keep firing.
After bringing great shame to my family, I make it through the skirmish way easier than I would have on a keyboard and mouse, so fuck you for that bright memory. Even the platforming is easier on a controller. Again, fuck you. You solve a puzzle, which is just platforming to 3 switches to have another skirmish, but this time with a lion guy. Again. And since I've already brought great shame to my family by playing this game with a controller, I might as well montage the skirmish with some more kitchen ace. Hit it, Johnny. After defeating those enemies, we grab the Holy Grail and head down a corridor where we are met by a time-traveling lion-tiger mythical hybrid thing. A rock falls on the mythical creature and knocks us both down into a body of water. You wake up in the puzzle arena where luckily you don't have to do the annoying puzzle a second time, but since it's a Dark Souls-like game, who doesn't want to play the game over and over again knowing you'll have to do this puzzle every single fucking time? I think I got it. Jesus Christ, that was unnecessary. You fight this fat fuck again, and really it presents nothing new compared to the last skirmish, so after executing him, you get a little title card, because congratulations, you just defeated the game under 45 minutes. Well, probably only 30 minutes for you, because I know it didn't take the average public as long as me to do the rotating dials puzzle. So, should you buy Bright Memory Episode 1 for the price of $8? No. Fuck no, you shouldn't. Nothing is important enough that you need to know that carries over into Bright Memory Infinite, but that with the technical issues, laggy performance, slow as slug controls, and a minimal amount of stuff to get you to chafe over, I'd just say to get another $12 and get yourself the full game Bright Memory Infinite. Or use those same $20 and get yourself Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Sure, you can beat that game in an hour, but at least that one is fun. I Am Sakuya, a Touhou FPS game. Out of all these games, I actually had a fun time playing, with albeit a lot of frustration. More on that later. Released on September 13, 2022, and developed by the Sakuya team, who before this game was primarily known for making anime novel story games with a art style somewhere in between Puyo Puyo Ghibli and Higurashi, which means absolutely nothing to me, before they branched out into FPS games which they use this collection of art styles, which further means less to me. But after the release of I Am Sakuya, it became the new way of their games going forward, which one of those games in Twilight Town, a cyberpunk FPS game, I will talk about in another video. As for Twilight Manor, a roguelike FPS, and the recently released I Am Sakuya FPS Lunarian Invasion, which I assume is a sequel to I Am Sakuya, a Touhou FPS game, I will not be playing, because I already gave this developer a half hour of my salary. I don't think I'm missing too much, honestly. What I find amazing about this game is it was developed using id Tech 3, the engine responsible for Quake 3 Arena, and a bunch of other awesome games. And if it is, that's kind of Brazilian drug dealer 3 levels of cool to use this outdated tech. But I also question if this was a typo by the Sakuya team, because everything screams GZ Doom. The textures, the menu screen, the settings screen, the animation, much less the fact the game they would follow up with in Twilight Town does use GZ Doom, and advertises this fact, so before I jump into the game I should probably make that known, that I don't think this is actually looks or resembles this, but I'm willing to be proven wrong. We start the game on part 1, Sakuya's journey, as Sakuya informs us that there's a mansion that popped up suddenly. The Shrine Maiden won't investigate, so I will. So for plot, I'm not exactly sure what's going on, or if this game is a continuation of the previous Sakuya anime novel games, Sakuya Izeo gives you advice and dabs, or Save Me Sakuya-san, or even Christmas Celebration with Sakuya Izeo. So I'm just going to have to wing it for the story from what I'm given here. But you get a feel for the mobility in this section, which feels very GZ Doom-like, which is never a bad thing. You make your way through a choice of 3 doors, which I'm not sure if this is the difficulty selection, so I may have chosen easy, which would bring me and my family great shame. As you Doom transition into the next level, the first weapon you're given is this Time Watch, which freezes time, and that's it. So don't go into it thinking you can shoot enemies while they are frozen, much like you would in Singularity. It just freezes time, which for now is basically useless, but will become useful for one specific level. More on that later. After surviving the failure of the Time Watch, I test out the pistol, which is fine, but this is definitely a bullet hell experience that you should take your time with rather than guns blazing full Rambo, as there's always a lot of enemies and a shit ton of projectiles flying all over the place, that luckily are very visual, so easy to identify, even if it's a lot of them. After killing some blue fairies, you get this Puyo Puyo doll that shoots like a voodoo doll machine gun. It's fine, but will soon get immediately outclassed. More on that later. In this level, you fight hordes of fairies that shoot at you in different patterns. The blue fairies have a straight projectile, the black dress vampire girl charges right at you. Fuck them so hard. More on that later. As well as pink fairies that shoot the same as the blue ones. Now if I were you, go to this waterfall if you want to make your life easier battling these fairy hordes, and get yourself the most OP shotgun in terms of spread and distance I have ever seen in a GZ Doom game. This shotgun will become your favorite weapon almost immediately, as it can clear waves of enemies in a single shot whether close or far away. This shotgun fucks so hard. There isn't much to this level other than to get you comfortable with the combat, which feels good, so you make your way to this hole as you fall in to complete this level. Sakuya, you sure this isn't a GZ Doom game? Level 2, Kasumi's Not Here, is a great example of when environmental detail is shown as well as a reminder to take things slow, as there's just so much colored projectiles flying all over the place. Sakuya informs us, did the gatekeeper make this cave? I suppose she'll stage a last stand all by herself. So I assume that means anime murder. Here you meet a new enemy, the Green Fairy, which fires its projectiles in a circular pattern. This is also a level that emphasizes what it is in being a boomer shooter. Not as much in terms of different paths to take to get to the end goal, but in terms of rewarding exploration, in terms of combing over the level and finding secrets. It's a fine short level. Level 3 is a boss fight, as Sakuya replies, well, she's kinda cute, but I'll have to get past her to get in. As we take on Hong Mei Ling, the boss of this level's namesake. She fires a timed pattern of attacks that once memorized can easily be countered. She's probably the easiest boss fight in the game, which says something because it's not exactly an easy boss fight, but in comparison to what follows, she's a fucking cakewalk. Especially if you use the shotgun. After killing her, Mei Ling begs for your mercy as she lets you into the mansion for sparing her life. No wonder she didn't let me in. This place has a pest problem. Time to clean up. Those pests being fairy extermination, as level 4 inside the SDM becomes more corridor-based going forward. Also, fun fact, when an enemy kills you, it tells you on the top left of the screen which enemy killed you, which is a nice little detail. Here we get to test out the second best weapon in this game, the throwing knives. See a shit ton of enemies you're too impatient to dance around their projectiles? Well, just throw a shit ton of your knives in that room as they bounce around everywhere, killing anything in sight. Even cooler, after the room is cleared, these things continue ricocheting off the walls because these knives don't obey the rules of inertia. Neat. This is also the level that begins a level design pattern faithful to the Doom games of the 90s, finding colored keys to open specific doors. It's the most tropiest trope since tropes came to Trope Town.
You are the gayest monster since gay came to Gay Town!
But at least does this well, where you're never getting lost finding them, much less finding the door the keys are assigned to. You meet another new enemy, these tall green vampire girls, who I assume are vampires because I never got killed by one to find out what they actually are, but they charge right at you. Another okay level. That vampire must have an accomplice who can take me to her. I must find her.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want.
I sound like a 14-year-old, but my boobs are huge!
Level 5 into the library is another corridor level that represents more of a ballroom dining hall than a library, but whatever. It follows the same themes as the last level of corridor meets finds the colored keys. Neat. Trust the knives, people. After you find the keys, you get this cool explosion of enemies sequence. Trust the shotgun. You also meet another enemy, this giant pink fairy who charges at you like the green fairy, but she can fire a homing projectile. Neat. This level is better than the last one, but still, eh. Now on to level 6, which is a boss fight against Patchouli.
Mamma mia.
What a nerd. I'll get her to talk quickly. Which, that's kinda mean, but yeah, she does look like a nerd.
Mama.
Sure as shit doesn't fight like one, as she fires a straight projectile and 3 homing projectiles at you, so not only do you gotta dance around the straight fire, but you gotta wiggle the homing projectiles off their path. Nothing the shotgun and actual bookshelves to use for cover can't cure. After knocking Patchouli on her ass, she pleads, "Alright, I give up, you freak. I'll show you where a chilia is."
You're right in front of your 4 slices.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So I ate this corner.
He ate that one first.
Which, good.
Mamma mia.
Lots of stairs, level 7 doesn't even feature the most stairs. Whatever. It's also the first level that gave me the bad Doom vibes. Now, I'm not critiquing Doom 1 and 2 for certain levels being reliant on key finding corridors, but with modern boomer shooters, when they do it, becomes slightly less fun. Nothing wrong with paying it forward to the god of boom, but this is 3 levels in a row, not including the boss fights of this style of play popularized in 1993. Jesus, I'm fucking old. Not much I got out of this level that I didn't get before, except I got killed by one of those flying black-dressed vampire girls who go by the name Rumia, who also apparently rammed me to death. And this pink fairy tweaking the fuck out. This level's fine. This mansion is huge. I wonder if there's more than one vampire residing here. Wait, those fucking Rumias aren't vampires? In level whatever, SDM guest area, real creative level name you got there, in SDM guest area, you do what you basically did in the last 3 levels. Corridors, albeit tighter in this level, and key collecting. Brownie points, though, to these pretty sweet Doom stairs.
Mamma mia.
Hell, or as it's called in France, to the top of the mansion, can eat the fattest part of my ass. I think for those who bought this game and were thinking of the purchase for the gameplay as opposed to the, you know, I'd like to think this level was their breaking point. It sure was mine a few times for me. In essence, this would have been a pretty cool lead-up to a Doom boss fight. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sakuya tells us, this is it, my investigation is coming to a close. That investigation being a rising circular platform where every enemy this game has until you survive the onslaught long enough to make it to the top. I think of Doom honestly for this level. A small rising circular battle against every cacodemon, revenant, Kinky, Baron, Archie, and Lost Prophet. As you just have to survive and not fall off the platform because it's an instant death. Now replace all that with neon-colored bullet hell and fairies. Neat. There is so much shit flying around everywhere. Your knives are sadly useless because of the platform rising. They can't keep up, so you can throw them slightly higher just to lose their ricocheting later, or just use a shotgun. I have only 3 tips for you on how to survive this fucking level. First, shotgun, and shotgun only. 2, tight circle strafing. And lastly 3, save the time freeze watch for the last 20% of the climb. You're welcome. Oh, also make sure you save before you begin. So, you're a vampire? I can tell you're up to no good. I have to exterminate you. Sakuya tells the final boss of this game, Remilia Scarlet, who for some reason I'm getting young promising woman vibes, does exactly what the other 2 boss fights before did. Shoot you in a specific pattern, which yes, initially tough, but when the brain turns back on, it's not really that tough, and she's stationary. I used the knives, because they give you a fuck ton of them anyway, so why not? Also, I'd be lying if I didn't ask the question of where exactly Remilia is firing her projectiles from. After defeating Remilia, she begs, alright, enough. You got me, just hear me out for a second. I skipped after reading this, so someone comment on what she would have said if I didn't throw fucking knives at her head. We get a Quake 3 endgame scroll. After defeating Remilia, Sakuya pulls out a wooden stake and prepares to finish the vampire off for good. Before Sakuya pierces her heart, Remilia makes her an offer she cannot refuse. In exchange for servitude, Sakuya would be granted the role of chief maid, giving her the power to commit— Why the fuck is there so much story here? What? No. Seriously, for an idtech 3 game, what is with the fucking amount of words on my screen right now? Oh, also it's apparently not the last level. Neat. Oh, also I forgot that your health carries over from the prior level, which is fine because a health pack is usually right in front of you at the start, so I just wasted your time. Honestly, this level isn't too bad. Nothing special, but it's a lot less of the corridors and feels like some effort went into the scope of the level, and the skirmishes are definitely better in it, so 10 out of 10 for this game. So many enemies, but getting rid of unwanted guests is part of my duty as a new head maid after all. There's a sentence I'll never repeat again, but more importantly, what fucking person hires a lead maid? Because I'm not saying head and nurse together again, at least while talking about this game, but what maid has the responsibility to do fairy and vampire eradication on top of dusting the lamps and vacuuming? I'd rather be a maid for Harvey Weinstein. That's too gross. I'd rather be a maid for Kevin Spacey. I don't want to die. I'd rather be the maid for In Basement Book Club, which sounds like the best canceled John Landis movie, follows a similar feel to the last level because it has more detail in the level's variety, making engagements a little more fun. Also, some light platforming in this level. So, 10 out of 10 for this game. Too easy with that level name. Oh. This is how Roll the Red Carpet starts out. Trust the shotgun. Well, count that 3 for 3 on the last 3 levels being good to serviceable. More expressive level design, better enemy placement, less corridors. Still key collecting. It's fine. Level 13, Quite a View, is more like the earlier corridor levels rather than the last 3 in terms of level expression, enemy placement, and mobility. I don't have anything of note about this level. Fairly standard GZ Doom, I mean Quake 3 arena shit here. Level 14, Flandre Scarlet, is the last level and boss fight of this game, and much like Remelia, she is stationary the whole time, and you just have to memorize her pattern, and you're good. In fact, I take back what I said about the boss fight with Hong Mei Ling being the easiest boss fight of the game, because Flanders didn't even manage to kill me once, which, if you're me, who doesn't love the last boss of your Gooner Shooter being the most easiest, which I guess technically fits the billing for an id Tech 3 boss fight. After defeating Flanders, you unlock the hard mode. So it's good to know I didn't select the easy mode when I had to choose between those 3 doors, and will I ever play it? No. Fuck no, I won't. You get a long Quake 3 endgame scroll that I will not read, because any game using id's old engines and asks me to read more than 2 paragraphs can go to hell. You're rewarded with this lovely image of all the bosses you murdered in cold blood just gal-palling around. Neat. So what are my thoughts of this game? It's fine. 14 levels, albeit 5 of them being boss fights and 4 of them being bland corridor levels, means for $8 you get 5 pretty good levels, and a whole bunch of average ones. This game came out in 2022, and I never recommend it over Metal Hellsinger, Fashion Police Squad, Proteus, Cultic, Postal Brain Damaged, Nightmare Reaper, Hands of Necromancy, or even Serious Sam, Siberian Mayhem. But for a Gooner Shooter that controls fine and uses tech I absolutely love, you could do worse. So it's the 10 out of 10 Gooner Shooter of 2022. Oh, Fida Pooty Samurai came out in 2022 as well. Never mind.
I always look on the bright side of life. Ba-doo, 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 ba.